is Jack Smith a total badass? This guy who is going to be taking on Donald Trump. He has been a prosecutor over at The Hague, which is like no small thing in and of itself. I mean, you know, in fact, it's a pretty major thing in and of itself. He's an obsessive triathlete. In fact, the reason he wasn't back for his appointment last week was because he's recovering from knee. Apparently, he's back in Washington, D.C. today, but he's been stationed in the Netherlands because he's trying war criminals. They're still going after people left over from the, you know, from the Milosevic and Radovan Karadzic era in Serbia. And this is a guy. This is a guy who takes no prisoners. He's a serious badass prosecutor. And he was the chief prosecutor for the war crimes committed by during the Kosovo War. He is fearless. He is tough. His track record reinforces this. He has successfully prosecuted here in the United States civil rights violations, the murders of police officers. He's led over 100 criminal prosecutions in the U.S. Attorney's Office in New York, addressing violent crimes, addressing white-collar crime, which, of course, and financial fraud, which, is, of course, is what Donald Trump and his associates, his many associates, co-conspirators, collaborators, whatever you want to call them, have been charged with. He has prosecuted white-collar crime. Of course, that's, you know, Donald Trump. He has prosecuted public sector corruption. And, you know, I mean, look up public sector corruption in the dictionary, and there's a picture of Donald Trump and his cabinet, right? He has supervised complex war crimes investigations at the International Criminal Court. And he was chief of the Public Integrity Section at the U.S. Justice Department for many years, which handles public corruption cases and cases involving members of Congress. So this guy is no shrinking violet. He is a serious, lifelong prosecutor. He's a young guy, too. He's, I believe he's in his late 40s. And I think that Donald Trump has a lot to be worried about here. I would be surprised if by spring Donald Trump has not been arrested and indicted. Now, you know, unlike the typical criminal who commits the kinds of crimes that Donald Trump has been accused of, you know, Reality Winner, for example, stole one classified document and spent 5 years in prison. And, you know, they raided her home, they dragged her off in handcuffs, you know, she never saw the light of day for another 5 years. They're not going to do that to Donald Trump because he's a billionaire and he's a former president, and we have a two-tier justice system in the United States, one for wealthy and powerful people and another for everybody else. Just like we have a two-tier medical system in the United States, one for the rich and one for everybody else. You know, we have a two-tier credit system, we have a two-tier, you know, you name it, right? But this is something that I think we should be taking very seriously, and I think that Trump needs to be taken seriously.